Hello again, everyone. Nobody knew about the fights Pam Grier was in. Girls who were supposed to watch out for her struck her when she was 6 years old. At age 18, it happened once more. They then tried to buy her body for movie parts in Hollywood. It was her fault that they all got away. However, her worst enemy in 1988 wasn't a person. Inside her, it was getting bigger. The way she got sick would also reveal a Hollywood secret that would shake the industry for good. Charlotte, North Carolina's Pam Grier was born on May 26, 1949. Clarence was in the Air Force, and Gwendolyn was a nurse. While he was working, the family moved around a lot. Pam didn't feel like she had a residence at all. They moved to Swindon, England, when she was only 7 years old, in 1956. It was not like this before, but Pam saw something strange. The black girl wasn't made fun of by the kids there. In the end, she said that they were taught to hate Germans, not us. She kept thinking about that moment. The family moved close to Denver, Colorado, in 1958 when they came back to the United States. Things weren't nice here, though. Pam had a nightmare when she was 6 years old that would haunt her forever. She was in Swink, Colorado, to see her aunt. There, a group of bigger boys surrounded her and beat her. That includes her cousin. Got her and raped her in a laundry room. During the attack, a phone repairman walked in and scared the boys away, then fixed the phone in silence, as if nothing had happened. Pam always remembered that. According to her, it changed her from a happy child to someone scared of the world. She began to stutter. It had been years since she had told anyone, because she was embarrassed. At age 18, it happened once more. A date raped her, and the pain she had pushed deep down came rushing back. None of this would come up in conversation until she wrote her autobiography many years later. Pam also had to deal with another harsh fact of life in the early 1960s, racism in the United States. In England, no one really paid attention to the color of her skin. Not so in Denver. They could not get on any buses. Food places refused to let them in. An incident happened where Pam tried to join a swimming pool, but was told it was only for white people. Even in 1969, she and her dad weren't allowed to try on clothes in some shops. These people were not accepted, but Pam came from a strong background. The Underground Railroad helped her mother's family flee slavery and find freedom in Wyoming. Pam was strong because of her past of survival, and it helped her choose strong roles in movies. Pam joined the Miss Colorado Universe pageant when she was 18 years old in 1967. To help pay for college, she did it, not to get celebrity status. The money was needed because she was going to Metropolitan State College. Of course, she didn't win first place, but she was one of the top 3. Simply, that was a big deal for a girl of mixed race at the time. More importantly, someone at the contest saw her and put her in touch with someone in Hollywood. To get her first agent, she did that. Later, she sang backup for Sly Stone and Stevie Wonder. In fact, she saw Jimi Hendrix record. After packing, she went to Los Angeles that year. But LA wasn't a beautiful place to live. Intense. She did not have any money. She didn't know anyone. She lied to get a job at a casting agency's desk and learned how to use the phones right there. She had many jobs just to stay alive. She was a waitress and a front desk worker. Art students can even use a naked model. Occasionally only ate one meal a day and slept a few hours every night. More than 40 different jobs were held by her between 1967 and 1970. She did everything she could to keep going while she chased her dreams. Because Pam was mixed, school in Denver had been hard for her. There are Cheyenne, Filipino, Chinese, Black, and Hispanic people. Others didn't look like her. The kids picked on her and called her names. She was even hit. Therefore, she took lessons in self-defense. Beyond learning how to fight back, she did martial arts to feel strong again. In the end, those skills made her who she was on TV. Movies weren't her way of acting tough. She was honestly. She made a big choice when she was only 19 years old, in 1968. The beauty girl called that Hollywood agent and told him she was ready. Since she only had $200, she moved into a very small room that was only 200 square feet, alongside 2 other women. Uncredited extras in the 1970 classic movie Beyond the Valley of the Dolls were her first acting jobs. While she worked long days for $25, she watched and learned from the real artists. She went there to learn how to act, but the system wasn't made for someone like her. She was only offered parts that played stereotypes, like tribeswomen or exotic bad guys, in 1969 and 1970. performers dancing in the background. It was bad money, and the parts were even worse. What happened when Roger Corman, a director, saw her at a party in early 1970? The fact that she was so tall and strong amazed him. He told her she could be in a new movie called The Big Doll House. Pam understood it was her chance. She worked out hard by practicing martial arts and guns for hours on end. She got stronger too, putting on 15 pounds. On this occasion, she was ready. But just as things were getting better, something bad happened. She was asked to meet with a big Hollywood producer that same year. Basically, he told her, "Sleep with me or you don't get the part." Pamela said no. When he tried to attack her, she had to fight him off. It occurred to her that she might quit and return to Denver. She could have left Hollywood behind, but she didn't. She remained. What was burning inside her got hotter. After that, each part was a way for her to respond. In 1971, she unexpectedly became famous for her part in The Big Doll House. In theaters, it made $10 million, but the cost of making it was only $125,000. She played a tough prisoner and did all of her own moves. For example, she had to film 3 days of mud wrestling in water up to her knees. After the set was damaged by a storm, Roger Corman said that the movie was hotter and more real than he had planned, but it was a huge hit. In addition to Pam, it started a whole new genre of movies about women in jail. In the movie Women in Cages that same year, she played a cruel guardian. It was harsh and caused a lot of debate. In scenes that were too much for viewers to handle, she abused other characters. In the end, Pam said she wasn't proud of those naked scenes. It made her feel cheated. She was used, but the part made her stand out. She caught everyone's attention. The Big Bird Cage was her big screen debut in 1972. She played a rebel who was planning to escape from jail using real guerrilla techniques taught to her by Filipino former fighters. A lot of action happened, and some of it was scary. Person in jail was squished under a bamboo mill in one scene. A lot of the movie felt real because it was inspired by real events. Pam did more than act. Her own tricks were being done, and training with real dogs. She played the lead role in Scream Blackula Scream in 1973. Lisa was the name of her character, a voodoo witch who could break a vampire's curse. Wanted the character to be strong, not just another scared woman in a scary movie. She wouldn't do any naked scenes and insisted that the magic parts be taken seriously. She stood her ground, even though the vampire still had most of the power in the story. What a year for Pam Grier. She became famous. She played a nurse in Coffee who became a rogue after drugs killed her sister. It won $2 to $1 million at the box office and cost only $125,000 to make. That crazy scene in the movie was made up by Pam. Within her hair, she concealed razor blades, which she then utilized in a fight scene. The truth was shocking, and I will never forget it. One scene came to stand for everything Pam stood for. Brave, without fear. Can't be stopped. Not just pretending to be a hero. Her name was Elizabeth. I never saw Pam Grier play it safe. People weren't ready for what they saw in Foxy Brown when it came out in 1974. There was one scene that really stopped people in their tracks. It wasn't just payback for her character. She ensured it hurt. Once the killer of Pam's boyfriend was found, she gave the order for something very bad. He was castrated by her. After that, she gave his partner what was left of him in a glass jar. It wasn't trickery. Completed by someone else. Was in charge of the whole thing. It had to feel real to her. It labored. About $4 million was made for Foxy Brown because of that scene. In addition, it changed what kinds of women could be in action movies. That woman wasn't a victim. A lot of people were afraid of her. Her movie The Arena, in which she played a female warrior, came out the same year. When she trained with real swords, she got hit and hurt. Continued. A wild chariot chase hurt her. Unfortunately, Pam wasn't the type of actor who hid pain. She got closer to it. This was her second time working with Margaret Markoff, and the movie only cost $75,000. There was more to it than a movie. Pam had proven she could handle anything. Even living in old Rome. She played the lead in Shiva, Baby in 1975. As a private spy, she used her real karate skills to go after the mob. No matter how exciting it was, the movie didn't do well. Fans of blaxploitation movies were ending their movie runs. They called it Pam Grier Light because it wasn't as violent or edged as Foxy Brown. I thought it was too clean and safe. People did not want that from her. After that, Friday Foster came out later that same year. During the crazy car chase, Pam drove herself. In that role, she was a photographer who became a detective and got caught up in a plan to kill someone. There was more to the story than just scary scenes. There was something to it. It showed that people were after black leaders. There was talk of coming together and the future. She worked on that movie for American International Pictures till the end. She stopped just using guns. She also used her mind. Furthermore, in 1975, she played Aretha in Bucktown. She stood up to dishonest police officers in a small town. During shooting, she made up a line about women's rights on the spot. However, it was so well received by test audiences that it was added to the final version. It proved how strong Pam's force was. It didn't matter if she was reading from a script or not. That movie was one of her last big hits before the end of the blaxploitation era. Then something happened. She had a very different part in Fort Apache, the Bronx in 1981. Charlotte, a prostitute who is hooked to drugs and kills police officers, was her name. It was scary and dark. Her co-star was Paul Newman, who made $3 million and 15% of the screenplay's income. Pam had a small part, but it was memorable. People said she was creepy. She showed that she could play dark and serious roles, but it also made her more often play broken women than heroes. Somewhat Wicked This Way Comes, a Disney movie from 1983, had her in it. She was the Scarecrow Goddess. Test groups didn't like it, though, and Disney freaked out. They fixed up the movie for $4 million. Pam's parts were cut down or taken out completely. 5 months went by before the movie came out. It scared Disney to put a black woman in a fantasy part. It was the audience's fault. But the truth was that Hollywood didn't want women like Pam in stories about magic. That broke my heart. She found a new home on TV between 1985 and 1989. She played New York police officer Valerie Gordon on Miami Vice. She brought real-life experience to the part because she grew up in the service and her family has a military history. Not only was she playing tough, she knew what was going on. Her stories were real, and they often had to do with her missing sister and shady officials. She was both strong and weak at the same time. During a rough patch, that part kept her work going. She also began directing plays at UCLA at this time. She tried to learn as much as she could while working for Roman Polanski. To show the world that black players could be in any kind of story, she put on a production of Frankie and Johnny with only black actors. Couple of bad reviews, but Pam didn't care. She learned how to be in charge. Her relationships were always hard. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was her boyfriend in the early 1970s. His old name, Lul Sindor. She had to give up her freedom, become a Muslim, and wear a hijab. No, she said. Their relationship ended in 1973. He was Freddie Prinze, and they met in 1973. Being 19 and already a big star, he was unstable. During 1977, he called her before he actually killed himself. She tried to stop him, but he answered the phone. After hours, he was gone. She felt bad about herself all the time. Richard Pryor then showed up. Their relationship began in 1975. He was smart and attractive, but he used cocaine too much. Found out something terrifying while going to the doctor. There was leftover cocaine in her body. His hand had written it. She talked to him. He didn't think about it. His relationship ended in 1976, but she didn't go away. When she went to see the stir-crazy set in 1980, she saw him freebasing cocaine. He refused to stop. No, he said. After a few months, he caught fire again while freebasing. She didn't find it strange. It was clear to her what would happen. A short relationship with Wilt Chamberlain happened too. In his book, written years later, he wrote about their meeting and said he had slept with 20,000 women. He told others about private things without her permission. She was really mad. It was abuse, she said. She was on that list, but no one asked her how she felt about it. Pam Grier was at the top of her game when she was 39 years old in 1988. She followed a healthy lifestyle and was in good shape. She never drank or did drugs, ran 6 miles every day, and didn't eat meat. She believed things were going well. She looked at houses and thought about getting married and having kids as she planned her future. Then all of that changed with one phone call. She thought it was just a regular checkup. Changed into a scary thing. She was told she had cervical cancer in stage 4. Not the first or second stage, but the 4th one. Her life expectancy was 16 to 18 months. A big box full of medical records was given to her, and she was told to start making her will. Actually, they couldn't even begin treatment right away, because after surgery, her body needed time to heal. 6 weeks went by while she dealt with the news that the cancer had spread. She worked hard the whole time. That's what shocked me even more. When she got the news, she was shooting above the law with Steven Seagal, but she kept showing up. To the crew, she never said anything. She wore hairpieces. A lot of weight was taken off. The painful treatment kept going on for her. Kept doing their thing and smiling. Since Pam's mom was a nurse, she used what she knew to deal with her pain without turning to pills. That required a lot of strength, but the mental pain was even worse. The man she loved refused to come to her first cancer treatment. Then he just left for 5 years. In the fight of her life, she was by herself. After some time, she said that cancer makes you realize who your real friends are. And it was a harsh lesson for her. Things worsened. In 1990, her sister Krista died of breast cancer while she was still sick. Pam cherished her like an actual sister. Krista had been a flight attendant, and Pam always thought that the chemicals she was exposed to while flying gave her cancer. Still hurting after that. Freddie, Krista's son, was too sad to feel anything. He killed himself not long after his mother died. Prior to his death, Freddie tried to get in touch with Pam, but he made threats, which made her afraid. She felt bad about not meeting him, so she didn't. As the cops surrounded the scene, she passed out in a hotel room after learning what had happened. All of this was going on while Pam was still trying to save her life. After that, something strange happened. While she was at home in the San Fernando Valley one night, she watched PBS. It was a report by Bill Moyers called Healing in the Mind. A Chinese woman with a big growth on her back was shown. With acupuncture, herbs, pressure therapy, and meditation for a few weeks, the growth went away. Holly saw that as a sign. It was her choice to use Eastern medicine along with her treatment. She saw a Chinese herbalist because her doctor told her to. The herbalist gave her special plants and told her to drink hot tea with her meals to clean her body. Also, she did yoga. She did everything in a very strict way. She thought that clean air, water, and being in nature helped her get better. Her body slowly began to fight back. One day, her doctors told her something that no one thought they would. She was getting better. That happened over 35 years ago, and she's still here. She worked to raise knowledge about cancer, pushed for early checkups, and told people that miracles can happen if they fight with all their might. That said, the worst cut wasn't on her body. She felt in her heart. After years of beating cancer, she started treatment. What really happened then came out. Ever since she was 6 years old, she had been in pain. There, a group of boys sexually attacked her. It happened again when she was 18 by someone she trusted. She came up with the idea for the first time. It was all locked up inside her. But everything came up in treatment. It hurt, scared, and scared them. She'd had PTSD for decades, and all of a sudden it made sense. Her tough jobs on TV and film weren't just parts. They were holding on. They were her defense. She played many strong women, but each one was really her. She fought to stay alive and protect what was left of her soul. Foxy, My Life in 3 Acts, her autobiography, talks about how the brave image that people loved came from real pain. It was never just playing, it was genuine. Something awesome happened to Pam Grier in 1996. She had been stuck in small TV roles and weak movie roles for years before she suddenly showed up in Mars Attacks, Tim Burton's strange sci-fi comedy. She was Louise Williams, a mother who drove a bus and was trying to stay alive during an attack by Martians. Some of the stars she stood with were Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, and Pierce Brosnan. Filming took place all over the world, from California to Argentina, and cost $80 million. The movie brought Pam Grier back into the public eye after a long absence, even though it only made $101 million around the world. For something else to happen, that return was needed. Years later, in 1997, everything changed. Within that year, Quentin Tarantino created a movie especially for her. He turned Rum Punch into Jackie Brown and changed the main character's part so that Pam Grier could play it. A white woman from the book was not what he wanted. He longed for her, and she did it. In the movie, she played a flight attendant who brought money from the US to Mexico illegally. There was more to her performance than just the story, though. As a tribute to her work in the 1970s, when she ruled the big screen with movies like Coffee and Foxy Brown, Tarantino did this. It cost $12 million to make Jackie Brown, but it made $74 million. Pam was nominated for a Golden Globe. The reviewers really liked her. Even Robert Forster, who played her co-star, was nominated for an Oscar. That was it. She was no longer forgotten. It was her again. In 1998, she kept going in that direction. On Showtime's new show Lynx, she played Eleanor Winthrop, the tough and smart leader of a children's rights political group. Comedy and drama were both on the show, which took place in a bar in Washington, D.C., with tough issues like racism, hunger, and fairness. By bringing her real-life action to the part, Pam made it more than just acting. 5 awards were given to the show, and it ran until early 2000. She saw it as more proof that she could work with action, drama, and smart humor without losing her edge. In 1999, she was constantly visible. She was Detective Vera Cruz in the teen movie Jawbreaker, which was about a group of friends in high school, guarding a dangerous secret. The movie had a dark tone, but it also had a fun vibe, like Heather's. She made the story more serious, even though the movie was silly. She did the role of a talking nightingale on the animated show Happily Ever After the same year. The show showed kids how to be beautiful on the inside. Although she wasn't on screen, it showed that she could still make people feel things. Later, there was Holy Smoke, a drama directed by Jane Campion that was for the keyboard. They worked together on scenes with Harvey Keitel and Kate Winslet. There wasn't much going on in that movie, but it was beautiful and thought-provoking. Again, it proved that Pam Grier belonged in important movies. Although it was the 2000s, she didn't slow down. From 2002 to 2004, she played lawyer Claudia Williams on Law and Order, SVU. Although not very important, her part was strengthening. She was nominated for 2 NAACP awards for it, which shows how good her performance was. Her most emotional TV part ever happened around this time. Showtime started showing The L Word in 2004. Tammy played Kit Porter, Bet Porter's bigger sister. Kit was straight and had a drinking problem. She worked in music and always tried to be the center of attention for her sister's group of friends. Her story covered love, getting sober, and heartbreak over the course of 6 seasons. Being turned down for marriage was one of her most powerful scenes. The people she loved most couldn't even officially get married, she said. That sentence said a lot. Since the end of the show in 2009, Pam played Kit. Years later, when the show started up again, she couldn't join. She was movie-making something else at the time. She played Constance Terry in the 2019 comedy Bless This Mess. A couple moved from New York to a small town in Nebraska in the show. Pam portrayed the sheriff and shop owner of the town. Her acting was funny, charming, and strong. In the same year, she was also in a movie that shocked a lot of people. Her character, Olive, was 70 years old and joined a cheering squad in a retirement community. The show was called Palms. Additionally, she did dance. On screen, she did real cheer moves. While some reviewers said the story was predictable, Pam's energy made the book stand out. She proved that age didn't define her. Absolutely not. She wrote a book called Foxy, My Life in 3 Acts in 2010 that told her whole story. It shocked people and sold more than 100,000 copies. A gang raped her when she was 6 years old, among other bad things that happened to her as a child, and raped when she was 18. In addition, she talked about her friendship with Richard Pryor and how his drug use hurt her heart and health. It hurt to be honest, but it was powerful. Because of that book, work on a movie called Pam began. Samantha picked Jay Farroa to play Richard Pryor after hearing his impression and confirming that it was Richard. People said that Benny Richburg's writing was raw and heartbreaking. At the time, companies were still looking at it, but people were talking about it already. After being nominated for 16 awards, Jackie Brown never got an Oscar nomination. 2016, IndieWire called her. He was one of the best actors who was never nominated for an Academy Award. It hurt, especially when people said it was like John Travolta's award for Pulp Fiction. Even though both actors were in Tarantino movies, only the white one got recognized for his comeback part. Pam Grier was very important to Halle Berry's business, she once said. That answers everything. In addition, there were lies. According to some, she was kicked off of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air after a 1994 guest appearance. It was all deceit. She was Janice Robertson in the play and did her job. There wasn't any trouble. In clickbait videos with names like Pam Grier Band, the rumors kept going around. Honesty? She recorded her shows. It was her choice. There you have it. A very bad part of her story came to light during the Me Too movement. She talked about how she turned down Harvey Weinstein in the 1970s in 2018, many years before he lost power. Through Jackie Brown, which Miramax released, she met him. After Weinstein's scandal, she lost a part in a big Amazon show with Robert De Niro and Julianne Moore. The show fell apart because of the scandal. There was no silence from her, though. She talked at TED about beating cancer and being raped. She spoke out to protect, warn, and give others strength. She's still there, even now. In May 2024, when she was 76 years old, she went on the Jennifer Hudson Show and talked about a crazy occurrence that happened on the set of her 2001 movie Bones with Snoop Dogg. She smiled and told him, "I'll tell you something. He can smother." Later, she laughed. One time, Snoop said that meeting her made him pass out in the bathroom. You can always get that kind of result. They have been friends for more than 20 years.